This is the Oops All Energies podcast, where we talk about all things Pokemon card related and Pokemon related. Does that make sense? So we got a bevy of topics. We're going to be talking about how much money we spent on Pokemon cards in the month of October. It's currently November. How much is too much Pokemon card set releases. The most controversial thing about the current state of the meta. The best potential meta decks in November 2024, and predicting the best decks post Searching Sparks. Without further ado, I'm joined by Jay and Jovani, and my name is Kevin, and let's get this show started. So, first topic. How much did you guys spend on Pokemon cards last month?
I'd say, well, last month, not terribly a lot. I finished Stellar Crown's art set very quickly. This is a pretty small art set. And out of only, 2 or 3 booster boxes, I was able to get, all of the base EXs, and, I've gotten a decent amount of stuff from the set, but I really didn't spend too much. It was kind of more low-key. It's been waiting until my regionals run starts back up, so I'd say, I think it was probably just around, 300 is all. Just 3 boxes of Crown.
Okay.
He says 300, so
So casually.
I haven't spent anything on Pokemon recently. I've been pretty busy in life, so as far as Pokemon goes, TCG collecting and competitive playing, I haven't done much in the past couple months. So,
But you downloaded the latest, was it Pokemon TCG Pocket?
yeah, I
Pocket,
did,
yeah.
and that one was fun. As it's definitely different for sure.
That one's free.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking at my YouTube channel because I forget how much I spend sometimes. I bought the Charizard box. That was like $80. I finished building my Gengar and Raging Bolt deck. That was probably another $80, so I'm up to 160. I bought 2 Raging Bolt tins. That's another 50, so that's 190. And then I got the Stellar Crown Pokemon Center ETB. That's another 60. So I'm at 250, I think. And then yeah, just about 250. I think that's about it. Wow. I could have sworn I spent a whole lot more. Yeah, no, I'm sitting at 250. I think I have a mystery box I also opened. That went up on my channel. That was another 45, so just under 300. Wow, that's that kind of makes me ashamed of saying how much I spend on Pokemon cards every month on here.
I mean, that's fair. It's not as much as my past spending has been, trust me.
Yeah,
Right
no,
now,
that's
low.
true. That's fair. I did buy 3 video games all in the same span of 1 week. That happened by accident because all my pre-orders came up, and here I am.
That's fair. I've been on that TCG simulator for the last 3 days straight. Anytime that I've had to that I've not been practicing for SAC and not working on other stuff, I'm just man, this TCG card shop simulator has crack in it.
I heard that people really like that game, and I've been seeing a whole lot of videos about it, but I haven't watched it. Clearly, I need to give it a try myself.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And it's in early access, so there's still a lot that they can add. I've been having a ton of fun with it. Yeah, what else do we got? What about, so you guys know what's coming in Surging Sparks, right?
No, not a clue. Aside from the mascot, Pikachu.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. The trainers in this set are probably the biggest game-changing stuff of the year, I'd say, because especially with Terra Orb. You have Terra Orb now. That is an item card that just lets you grab a Terra with no cost to it, essentially. Originally you'd have to Ultra Ball for Charizard. Now you can just grab Charizard without, discarding any cards. You just grab him.
Is Terra Orb an ace spec, or is it just a regular item?
Nope.
What is it?
Regular item.
Whoa,
Regular item.
That's
yeah.
That's kind of nasty. Is there any conditions you need to set it up?
Nope. No,
What?
you just play Terra Orb, grab Charizard, boom. Same thing with boom, Terra Orb, grab Dragapult. It just lets you grab any Terra with no drawbacks. I mean, for a deck like Drago, not terribly gonna change it because like you'd only grab Ogre I mean, sure, you could maybe use it to like grab your Dragapult and then to like discard it, but that one's hyper specific, and that's not gonna work for Drago. Maybe no, not even for Bolt. You're doing it for stage 2 Terras, so that's gonna be like for Charizard, Dragapult, but they're even then not gonna be dropping Ultra Ball because they still have like Pidgeot or something in there.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
right, so it'll still have Ultra Ball, but there's now gonna be specific cards in there that just allow them to yoink, grab them without any drawback. Some of the ace specs are also just absolutely ridiculous. We got Pal Pad to the hand, boys.
Pal pad to
We
the
got,
hand.
put 2 supporters into your hand. It's an ace spec.
Oh.
Yeah, Pal Pad puts them into your deck to shuffle.
Oh.
This
Okay.
puts them in your hand.
So no more praying for RNG when I'm like trying to mill through my own deck looking for that
Oh, not
support I
only
shuffle
that.
back in. Okay.
Yeah, not only that, but now there's also the call bell. There's the call bell, which is basically Battle VIP Pass, but for supporters.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
So
use it
instead
first
of
turn.
yes, you can only use it your first turn if you're going second.
Okay.
Right, because there have been I'm not even gonna lie, like my trip down to Arizona that I took, dude, like 3 or 4 games in a row while I was playing down there where I just didn't get a supporter for the first, 5 or 6 turns. I'm like, that's why I got whacked, is because I couldn't get it to a supporter. That thing is going to make supporter bricks at least be a thing of the past. Sure, you're still gonna get bad starts where like you have Pheasantipity as your start mon, not ideal.
Yeah.
But not getting a supporter will be a thing of the past. It's huge.
That will bring up like an interesting conversation piece for people at the table. It's, do you run Prime Catcher or do you run that?
Right. Well, no, yeah, the helmet, the helmet is that, or the headset. The headset is the supporters one. Actually, the call bell isn't even it's not an ace spec. That one's a regular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a regular item. So like bricks for supporters are a thing of the past. They
Jeez.
looked at what Battle VIP Pass was of like for the meta of Gen 8 and we're like, okay, clearly people are getting donked all the time because Rapid Strike Urshifu is running around, able to just snipe whatever they want off of the bench, redo a turn, and just keep doing that. Okay, we need to make it so that they can have more basics on the bench so they're not just getting instantly creamed. They looked at the meta right now. What is causing people to brick super often that isn't like a bad start of a Pokemon? Oh, they're not getting supporters. Boom. They needed to put this card out. I'm so thankful they did. That one's gonna be one of the positive changes from Surging Sparks. Terra Orb is gonna be like meta manipulating.
I find it so interesting how they're finally putting Terra Pokemon and Terra related cards into play, because the early half of Scarlet and Violet, sure, we had Terra Pokemon, but nothing really came of that until now.
Yeah, it hasn't been until they've put in the Stellars, and like I get it in a way because when Indigo Disc came out, they added the Stellar thing for the main games. I kind of get it, like the mechanic wasn't fully there yet, but I agree. Terra has been super underutilized. They could have done a lot more specific Terra cards, like for like Area Zero Underdepths, Glass Trumpet. Those are all kind of things that, like, for support of Terras, I would have expected a lot earlier on, like maybe SV4, SV5, but it didn't come around until the end of year 2, basically. So it's, I don't know. Stellar is definitely like a weird mechanic, because I think that's what they're really focusing on with all this Terra support. It's actually the Stellars, but the Stellars are still weird because they're so hard to use. They've got 3 energy. It's just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
different types of energies you have to use to execute an attack. It's kind of like running Dragon Pokemon.
Yeah, kind of. Well, what I really think it is a reference back to Crystal Pokemon from Gen 2. The Crystal Pokemon that like had 3 energy types for an attack cost. They were all colorless type.
Yeah.
So I think the Stellars are definitely a reference to that, although they keep their original type. But yeah, the 3 in practice for actual metagame, I don't know. They're kind of trying to force it there with the design of the cards, but at the same time, like it's so difficult to pull off 3 different energy types in a deck that it's kind of like,
Looking at you,
so
Raging
I
Bolt.
don't know. Well, Bolt has so much draw engine capability that it can get away with it, and especially with there's a lot of cards that are going to be able to give Bolt more options in this next in the next set. Like there's the headset that gives you the 2 supporters back into your hand for Bolt. That's crazy. That is nuts. Putting 2 Asadas and a boss back into your hands would be that's crazy.
I went to 2 Surging Sparks pre-releases, and I think I have a headset that I pulled. So I might have to...
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm really excited for this set's art, dude. There's a lot of really good art in this set. It is
When does the set come out?
gorgeous. We're 3 weeks out from this set from time of recording. Or no, 2 weeks out. 3 weeks out from Sacramento. So that would make us 1 week out from set release. It should come out, I believe, set release is next Friday, I want to say. Yeah, that should be the 8th. Yeah, something like... Yeah, the 8th.
Ooh. Yeah, my credit card charged me, so I think they're getting ready to ship soon.
Yeah,
That
makes sense.
Yeah, when I was at the pre-release, I didn't pull much. I got like a Spheal illustration rare. It was really cute. Someone pulled the Jasmine illustration rare, which is really cool. Like, oh,
Ooh.
I didn't know that she was in the set. So I'm basically going in blind.
Yeah.
And I know, speaking for Jovani, he's also going in blind because he hasn't been too into the TCG as of late.
Oh yeah, I'm totally not looking at the card
forget what
list
she
right
does.
now. Not so blind anymore.
Yeah.
The cards look sick. They look awesome. I'm loving them. The Cyber Ledge looks amazing. These look
Yeah, the
crazy.
Sarah Ledge has a deck going on in Japan. Actually, it's doing some results. So there's hope that it can be a deck.
Cerulege?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Sarah Ledge EX deck. Yes.
What is the main draw of the deck? Do you know?
Discard all special
Um,
energies from all your opponent's Pokemon for 1 energy. That's interesting. That sounds pretty
Oh
broken.
no, that's the regular Sarah Ledge. We're talking the Sarah Ledge EX deck.
EX deck.
Sarah Ledge
What's that?
EX is So the EX does 30 damage for its base first attack, and then 20 more damage for each energy in your discard
Oh.
for 1 energy cost for the attack. Right, so you're trying to get a bunch of energy just
Wow.
dumped, not even brought back, just dumped. Because then its second attack is also Raging Amethyst for 280, so you're knocking out, Drago and pretty decent amount of other stuff. Discard all energy from it.
So I
So
assume
it's meant to be an energy dump deck.
So I assume there's like a bunch of ancient type cards, like the hiker, whatever guy is.
I believe so. Yeah, I think that Explorer's Guidance, I believe, is in there. There's Professor's Research. There's a couple of other things. It's pretty decent. It's been doing some numbers in Japan. The arts that I pulled during my pre-release, I got a couple of EXs. The EXs that I ended up getting were Slacking, which I just like Slacking, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I got the Tatsu EX, which I don't really care for Tatsu. I got the Executor, which is cool.
Ooh.
I love that thing. Super goofy. And then I also pulled Milotic, the regular Milotic EX. I love that card. Literally, its ability is prevent all damage from and effects of attacks from Terras. So good. And then I also pulled the Ska villain that's dual typed. That does 70 more damage for each damage counter on it. I want to make that into a Revenger deck. I also think that there's really goofy ways to move damage counters around onto it to I think you can make it definitely a rogue deck for it.
Yeah.
And then my arts that I pulled were the Kecleon and the Flapple, which were the two that I was like gonna chase for arts.
Okay.
Well, pre-releases were okay. Nobody got anything really crazy except for this one kid I remember. He pulled 2 Pikachus, like
Oh.
the gold and the full art, and then he didn't sleeve them and proceeded to play them in his deck.
Oh,
The entire store was just like cringing every time that he was playing a game. Like, I'm not even kidding. The whole store was like, "Oh my god, what?" I don't know. They also revealed that Eevee set.
Oh, what's that set called? Because I remember waking up at like 6 in the morning, and I'm like, wait, what? We haven't got Search Sparks yet.
Yeah, for Japan, they've already had it kind of announced.
Yeah.
It's Terastal Festival for them.
Uh-huh.
For us, it's Prismatic Evolution. Prepare for a scalped set. 'Cause it's all EVs.
I pulled the Sylveon, like regular Sylveon EX, so I see we're gonna get some EV decks coming soon.
Yes, we will definitely. They're trying, as game designers, from the game designer standpoint, they're trying to make an EV deck. There's the EVEX that can be played in the deck and treated as regular EV for evolutions. So you can get into every single one of the evolutions as a Stellar Terra EX. Like, it's pretty wild, because the way that, like, the EVEX has an ability that it gets treated as the regular EV, and the regular EV also has an ability that lets you evolve it on the first turn as long as it's in the active.
So crazy.
So it's just like,
oof.
oh my lord, dude. Yeah, they're trying to design a full-on EV deck. How well is it gonna, like, perform? You're gonna be playing literally every single energy type. Each of those mons is a different type in and of themselves. Like, it's all over the place.
Yep.
But cool novelty, cool gimmick. I'll give them that. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah,
But man,
I'd like to see it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But there's gonna be an SIR for every single evolution.
Oh.
This set is gonna be. Yep. This is this Evolving Skies for Gen 9.
Yeah. No, that's not fun.
That part's not the fun part. You gotta get in on that. But then, well, I kind of take that back, because it's not getting treated like how Evolving Skies or the old special sets are. It's getting treated like Gen 9 special sets. It's gonna get treated like 151. There will be product with, like, you know, it's all box product, no individual packs. They'll do booster bundles eventually later on, blah, blah, blah. So, like, it'll be, you know, not terrible. Everybody's gonna have the same odds with the products like that. But man, there's gonna be those dudes that are gonna buy those things up and scalp them to high heaven. It's gonna be not fun in that regard.
Speaking of 151, it recently got reprinted, and at Costco, they have a deal with a bunch of mini tins. And I saw some posts on Reddit where this guy just filled up his entire Costco cart with all the 151 product. I'm like, oh no. Come on, guys.
I'm kind of glad that I've seen a lot of that behavior starting to fall away because of how much Pokemon puts out product now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have people just dumping the shelf into their cart anymore. Like, that's really nice. I cannot lie. But at the same time, like, I get it. 151's one of those special sets, and it's already a year on, so, like, somewhat understandable for that set. And I think that set is probably one of the few that I give the pass to. There's some cool stuff in the 151 extra. I mean, that Costco thing has reverse cosmic foils of Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Pikachu. That is so, like, fire. That is super dope. Reverse cosmic. Favorite hollow pattern. Thank you. Next to, like, cracked ice and pixel hollows.
The last place
So
I need to
cool.
be is in a Costco with Pokemon cards, because I'm already spending like $200 on Costco items, and I need to spend another $50 on Pokemon cards there.
Yeah, real.
All right, guys. What is your most controversial take about the current meta?
Ban Dusknoir. Not in a vacuum. Dusknoir is okay, but with the fact that we've also got Grand Tree, Super Rod, Briars in the game, Night Stretcher, you know, those, you have a lot of ways to get that thing back into your deck and pull it off. Like you can have just 2 Duskulls, a Dusclops, and a Dusknoir, and you can abuse that thing to high heaven to take all 6 prizes in one turn with some decks. Like there is some really goofy stuff that you can do with it. Like in a vacuum, it's not bad. You know, pop it for the ability and you can knock out one of their stage 1s or like Rad Ninja and you both take a prize. Okay, that's fine. The fact that you can then play Thornton, get rid of your Rotom or your Lumineon that's sitting on the bench, replace it with a new Duskull or the Duskull from the discard, Super Rod the others into there. If you haven't used Grand Tree that turn, Grand Tree that back up, pop it again, and then redo the cycle one more time. If you don't have another Thornton, you can just have the other Duskull that's been sitting on the bench. Rare candy, like there's so much abuse that can come with playing that, and the fact that it manipulates prizes then into Charizard's damage and its effect, like it's extremely scummy, and to the point where it could be so fast where you're getting Yu-Gi-Oh turns happening. You've got these dudes like cycling and moving their cards for like 5-10 minutes straight of an entire turn, which in Pokemon would take that's forever. 10 minutes on your turn is a long time. So like you will have, like you can do that and win the game all in that turn, and your opponent's just like, what did I just watch? Like it feels like a Yu-Gi-Oh type card with how much you can abuse other things. And the fact that you can have Briar out there with more of that prize card manipulation, you're then taking an easier win with that. Like, yeah, it's super broken. The combination of the meta right now is such that one of those cards should not be in rotation because they create this screwy environment for a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, that's powerful, but like I think it's a little too far removed from Pokemon and getting closer into what Yu-Gi-Oh does for silliness that it's a bit much. It's just a bit much.
Jovani, are you
That's
aware,
my controversial take.
Are you aware of what Dusknoir does?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so Dusknoir from Shrouded Fable has an ability where you can knock out Duskull and drop 130 damage onto something on your opponent's side.
Oof.
Right. And also combine it with the fact that it's 130 damage. Like, that feels like a lot. If it was 110, I wouldn't have an issue. If it was 100 or 110, I wouldn't have an issue. Once you cross that 120 threshold, though, and you're hitting at 130, that starts to become like, holy crap, dude. That's not even that's not an attack. That's an ability. You're doing 130 damage out of an ability. Like, that's a lot. That's kind of crazy.
I know what deck I'm gonna
mostly
build.
Yeah, it's going to be running rampant at Sacramento, dude. It's running rampant already right now is Dusknoir Charizard. Like, it's everywhere. And the fact that it's then going to get Terra Orb into that's going to be even faster, dude. That's crazy. And it's not wasting resources for the discard on Ultra Ball. So it's just way more broken. Charizard continues to get way more support than I think he should get. But mascot, he makes the game sell. I get it. He's a good marketing tool, but come on, man.
That's how I actually lost a match playing in locals. They had a Turbo Hands deck and a Dusknoir in there. They put damage with their Dusknoir and then sweep me up with their hands for the game. I'm like, oh, That's a good play right there. Because it's an ability.
Yeah.
It's not an attack, so you could technically hit twice.
That's crazy.
You can use it as many times as you want in the turn. That's what's so crazy about it. It's not even like Pheasantipity is limited to once a turn. So there, like, if you use it and then try to do like Professor Turo scenario to pick it up and then play it back down, you can't do it. But Dusknoir, if you could just pull the thing back up with all these goofy cards of trainers, then like, oh yeah, go ahead, do it again, dude. Like, what? If I can only do Fez once a turn and can't pick it up to do it again, why do I get to do Dusknoirs multiple times in a turn? That's crazy. That thing is busted.
Yeah, that's pretty nutty. For an ability, that's
so
pretty
broken.
nuts.
Yeah. 130 damage is just too much. Because Dusclops does 50. It jumps it up by another 80 damage there. Like, whoa, dude. I can understand doubling it to 100, maybe giving it an extra 60 to make it 110, but you're jumping it all the way to 130. Who made that card? I want to speak to them. It's crazy.
Sounds like you just need to build this deck.
I mean, I use Dusknoir in a bunch of my decks. I have it in a bunch of my decks, dude.
There you go.
I still think it should get banned.
I don't know if I have any controversial takes. I just don't like control decks, so I just need to get good. At the end of the day,
you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Control decks are terrible, and they're just getting worse in a lot of ways. They're about to have the Gastrodon that comes in Surging Sparks. That thing blocks abilities of stage 2s on the bench.
Ooh.
Which
That's
I mean,
counter to
yeah,
Dustnor. Or Dust
counters Dustnor, but
There you go.
Well, the thing is that all you have to do is move Dustnor into your active and pop Dustnor, and then you get to move something into your active.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there's things that can counter it, but like, you know, it'll shut off Pidgeot, it'll shut off Charizard, it'll shut off things that are on the bench and put in a control deck that's doing other things to knock your opponent down, like taking away their items in their hand, milling their hand down, milling their deck. Then that'll be good. Just throwing Gastrodon into whatever deck, it's gonna get bench sniped. There's so many cards that could do bench sniping right now that it doesn't even matter. All it would take is like, you know, them like, you know, they could move enough damage from a Monkey Dory and then do like bench snipe with Rad Ninja. They just have to do a Rad Ninja and they can, bam, it's gone. So there's a lot of ways that like Gastrodon's not super useful, but it'll show up. It'll be in control. And control is easily the most cancerous, most toxic thing for the meta right now, I would argue.
There you go, Jovani. That's your deck.
Wait, that's my next deck, actually. Yeah, control.
Fine, make a control deck. See if I hate you. No, I can't hate you, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to win.
Yeah, we were talking about like what decks we want to build, and Giovanni's like, "Yeah, I just need a good like mill deck." I'm like, I guess Pidgeot Control is it's a good one.
There's mill decks. I mean, Twilight Masquerade got 0-6. Or no, Shroud of Fable got 0-6. Shroud of Fable got 0-6.
Yep.
That is that's a supporter that mills your opponent's hand down to 3.
Oh.
They have to. They get to choose what they keep, but they have to mill their hand down to 3. Hand Trimmer makes them put it down to 5. Yeah, there's mill options out there. There's a good amount of mill options out there. So we can. Well, actually, no. There's the Hydreigon deck. Yeah, you have a mill deck now, dude. Surging Sparks is gonna have Hydreigon.
That's right. I was playing against Van, and he used that on me. I'm like, it does what?
Yeah. It does 200 damage, and it mills the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck.
It's stupid.
Oof.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then its second attack is like 130 to 3 different mons.
That's, yeah. You can,
Perfect.
if you have like 2 of them like ready to go.
It's a deck in Japan.
You can sweep. You can sweep someone's bench if they're like sitting at 220. Ooh, there you go, Giovanni.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we
Figured
can
it
make
out.
you a
Just gotta
Hydreigon
wait
deck.
for
Sparks. Yep.
Sparks to
Next
come
week.
out.
Next week.
So, speaking of surging sparks, what kind of decks do you guys think will come into the meta play?
Charizard's gonna get ridiculous. Charizard's gonna be running rampant as soon as it becomes legal at Sacramento. It's gonna be everywhere. Pikachu will also be everywhere. That was a pretty easy meta call read.
What does Pikachu do?
Pikachu has an ability where he can't get one shot.
Oh.
Pikachu cannot be one shot. If he is at full health, he will stay at 10 HP if he gets attacked, and it would knock him out. He stays at 10 HP. His attack is, I believe, a grass, electric, and a metal energy, and it is 300 damage.
Oh.
Right. Well, get this. What does Gravity Mountain do? Minus 30 HP for all stage 2s. Everything is within one shot distance of Pikachu. Everything. Pikachu's going to be running rampant at Sacramento. It'll be everywhere.
That'll be fun to learn
Because
to play against. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it'll be a fun deck. It'll be fun to play against because it's going to be a great change of pace from Charizard. Do not get me wrong. But it's going to be extremely popular. It's the mascot, Pokemon, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's going to be everywhere in a lot of regards. Like, and I don't blame them. It'll be a good deck. But I'm also seeing it get teched into Miraidon. I'm also seeing it get teched into other, like, control decks as a staller so that it can't be one-shot. So you use it as, like, an intermediary attacker or, like, an intermediary defensive option where you can't get one shot. And then because he has free retreat, you just pull him out.
What's the engine to build up his energy?
Well, there's a couple of different options. You have the baby Terapagos, which is the baby Terapagos has the attack of grab 3 different energies of different types. You can also crisp into him to get those. Mirage Gate, I've seen Pikachu with Lost Box builds being, made up and, Mirage gating the energy to him that way. There's a couple of options. Another one that I've seen, well, I don't know if I want to share that strat.
Okay.
But it's definitely, it's a strat that isn't for Pikachu, but like, using Thornton for like energy stuff. People are going to use Scramble Switch when it comes out in that set too, which is basically switch, move all of the energy from the old active to the new active.
Okay.
It's an A-spec, so yeah, there's a lot of that will be around. I think Drago will still be here. He's going to fall away a little bit, but Drago's still going to be running around like crazy. Raging Bolt will stay here.
Good, because I just built him, so he better
Yeah,
be.
they're staple decks right now. They're pretty staple. I would say, like, big ones to watch out for are Ceruledge deck, control deck that's gonna like throw my Lodic in there. Hydreigon. Hydreigon is like the black sheep of it because a lot of people are very divided on Hydreigon. It's like he's not enough damage, but he mills. But he's also a lot of energy cost. But there's ways to reduce that. Like, there's gonna be counter gain, which counter gain's a reprint card. -1 colorless energy cost in the Pokemon's attacks if you're behind in prizes. It's a tool.
Okay.
Right. Hydreigon has 1 colorless energy in its cost, so it would at least make it then usable. There are decks of it running around in Japan, but I personally feel like it is a lot of pieces, so it's a wait and see kind of thing. But it's seeing success, so yeah, there's all sorts of good, interesting stuff right now.
All right.
It gets me excited.
Yeah,
Pretty excited about this new set coming out.
yeah, it's a good refresh for the meta before the rotation occurs in a couple of months. This will be the last main set before we get our rotation.
And
I feel like it's a good time to jump back into it.
yeah, no, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Because like a lot of the cards that are out right now are going to be the cards that are out right now, and they're not changing around. So,
if you thought the last season was diverse, right now is pretty dang diverse with the amount of decks you can run.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'd agree. Like it's both extremely healthy, but at the same time, like the top of the top meta is extremely unhealthy. You have all sorts of decks that can be built right now that are completely viable to take to a locals, even maybe to cups and challenges. There's tons of stuff available. You have all sorts of options, decks that can have different variants to them with different options for escape, outs, etc. Like you've got massive diversity and variety out there. But at the same time, like the top decks that are running right now are like it's Drago, it's Bolt, it's like there's only 4 main decks that people are still using in competitive. Lugia is still running around. Like, I have a hard time dealing with that because I like the variety. So like when I'm going to regionals, I always try to play something that'll be different and more fun than it would be of just like, okay, I'm just grinding out the meta thing, because you want to make it a fun experience. I mean, to each their own, but like the top of the top meta, I feel like is really unhealthy because it's all based around Briar, it's all based around Dusknoir, it's based around Area Zero Underdepths. Like it's pretty screwy.
Yeah, I don't know. Last regionals, man, I went in with the deck that I didn't really know how to play, and so this regionals, the next time I go to a regional, I'm just gonna play top deck, whatever is top deck, just in hopes of winning.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing with Sacramento. I'm debating on what I'm going to take to Sacramento. I don't know if I want to pull out Pikachu right away. I don't know if I want to do Drago. I don't know if I want to do the Kawasaki tree. I don't know what I want to do. I'm still debating.
Chin Pao.
Ha! My buddy Buckley and I were talking about Shen Pao. As cool as Shen Pao is, it's now we would consider it like a C tier deck probably.
Sorry, Micah.
Like it's Buckley's favorite deck. It's one of my favorite decks that have come out in the SV era. It's such a fun, cool deck. But like, and it because it feels so good. It flows so well. The cards like it's such a good, fun, like a genuine like this is a Pokemon deck. It's so good. But like it just can't compete with the speed of the other decks right now. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Like it's a good deck. It'll go down in history as like a top tier deck. Do not get me wrong, but like yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. to boy.
All right, Jovani. We got to get you training up for whatever regionals comes around.
Yeah, the closest
Probably
regional.
Portland. They haven't announced it yet, but that's
Ooh.
like a realistic
I don't think. Yeah, I think. I mean, they might. They'll. I mean, they usually do a Portland one. It's kind of weird that Portland wasn't with the initial announcement.
Yeah.
They normally do, so I would expect them to eventually add it on later. But yeah, closest one for us, it'll probably be Vancouver, up in BC,
Yep.
and I believe that's like February or March.
Oh,
So
Eesh.
hey, you got my money
yeah,
put together. But, holidays coming up. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right. You guys have any final words, other topics you want to discuss before we wrap up here?
I think right now is one of the best times to get into the TCG. Like genuinely. There is so much variety of decks, so much variety of sets that are like a good price on the secondary market to pull right now. There's a lot of good art floating around. Like I would say if you want to get into this right now and like you've been worried about like how much it would cost, the barrier to entry of skill, right now at this time is so prime. It really is. Like I've been back at competitive for like a year and a half or so. Like now feels better than ever for actually like being in the community because everybody's in a pretty similar mindset of like, yeah, it's healthy, but also unhealthy at the same time. Like everybody's aware of that, at least at the shop, at tabletop.
Yeah.
So like, it feels like a really good time to, look at what decks you want to play. Look at what decks are coming out. There's tons of time to prepare for these things. Like, now is great. So, go hog wild, man. There's also, this set has some great art. I'm excited for this set. I'm going to be ripping.
I agree with Jake over there. He mentioned now's a great time to get into it. I've been playing a lot of locals recently, and we're getting back into playing a lot more. And I'm starting to see a whole lot of new faces in there. Every conversation I have, they're like, this is their first tournament, or they just started last week, or they started this week. So there's a whole lot of new faces coming in. So don't worry, you're not going to be the newest person there. There's going to be someone with you.
Yeah.
Somewhere, someplace.
Oh, and everyone is always so friendly. They'll unless you're being loud and obnoxious, they will be very, helpful towards you and willing to give you pointers, talk out with you, discuss the meta, discuss, what should I do with this deck? They'll totally like, oh, here, let me look through your deck and like make some suggestions. They're not going to call you stupid for your choices. They'll be like, here, maybe if you switch, they want to see you improve. So like, go there, become a part of your community. It's so worth it. And like Kevin said, at the shop, I've been seeing a lot of new faces. I've been meeting a lot of new homies. A lot of them have been coming regularly now, and we've got like a new, even bigger group of people now at the shop. Like just keep it going. It just
Yep.
gets bigger and better every day, every time, every step of it you take. Just keep going at it.
Jovani, you got anything to say?
Not really. I'm pretty excited to, build a deck and start trying again. I think what you guys are talking about with like how helpful and kind people are at the shops. Well, I'm actually going to be the opposite. I'm going to be that toxic player. Every shop needs a villain, and I guess I gotta be that dude.
Yeah.
The one
I'm
guy,
gonna stomp him into the ground.
the guy who comes out once a month to like
Body
and then,
everybody.
with my control deck.
Right. I mean, every store needs a Kaiba. Every store needs a Seto Kaiba.
Exactly. I guess I'll do it. I'll take the bullet.
Alright.
No, it's
You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
Alright, with that being said, this has been Oops All Energies, and we'll see you guys not next week, but sometime.
Yeah.
woo.